and it's a line drive to
Key lime margarita?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Just watch.
Whoa.
Hi.
Go for it.
Thanks.
What about me?
Got you covered. Hey!
Whoa.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey.
Lefty O'Doul's drink mixes at these fine stores.
What are you doing? I'm getting the girl back.
Live from the Gold Dust Lounge at Fisherman's Wharf, it's the Will and Willie Show. Life and politics from the San Francisco point of view. Brought to you by Lefty O'Doul's Drink Mixes, available at Safeway, Lucky's, Bevmo, and other fine stores. I'm Paul Wells.
I'm Will Durst.
And I'm Willie the Brown.
And we have
What was the deal
so
with
much.
the bridge thing?
Oh,
that
you
said?
talking about that lady?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Today,
You gotta
on
hear
the-
this.
on-
You gotta
on
hear
the-
this.
On the streets, this lady walks up with an accent, of course, and somebody had obviously pointed me out. And I said, she says, "You're the former mayor?" I said, "Yes, I am." And she says, "You're Willie the Brownie Bridge?"
Willie the Brownie Bridge. Cub Scout, maybe. Brownie, I don't think so.
That's funny.
I said, "Yes, and I'm collecting tolls." Directly from anybody.
You know, I have a what would Willie do? Because this was
Already?
a feature on our show.
Already?
What would Willie do? Since you managed to get the Bay Bridge on the San Francisco side named after you, what would Willie do to get the Rainbow Tunnel in Marin on the Golden Gate Marin side named after Robin Williams? What do we have to do to get Waldo's name taken off of it?
Well, you're going to have to do a lot more than anybody had to do with the bridge, because the bridge didn't have a name. The bridge was like the Bay Bridge, and the people who put it together didn't include me in their efforts to produce it. They thought my talent was not equal to the task, and so I'm not sure my answer would be equal
So,
to the task.
so what you're saying, it's easy to name something that has
That has
been
no
named
name,
yet, but it's
correct.
hard to change it.
Almost impossible.
Because
to
the
change
Waldo
a name.
people, who are the Waldo people? Do we
It was
know?
a guy named Waldo.
Well,
His last
Well,
name was
yeah, I figured it wasn't a horse.
It's still
named
the Waldo grade, though.
Oh,
He'll
wait a
still
minute. The
have
guy's
Waldo
got some
grade.
relatives. What are you talking
Are
about?
they still here?
Oh, sure they are.
The Waldos?
Absolutely.
Well, let's petition the Waldos. Maybe they go
They'll
for
come
it.
out of the woodwork. And nobody will be able to say whether they're telling the truth or not. It won't matter. It'll be the enemies of those who don't wish to change anything, period. And it would be good to have Robin's. I think, though, that Robin would prefer the Golden Gate Bridge.
He would rather have the
If
bridge.
I know Robin.
I like the rainbows because the rainbow suspenders that he wore as Mork over the front of the tunnels. Also, to me, it's kind of symbolic because for a minute or or an hour or however long, he couldn't see the light at the other end of the tunnel, and that's unfortunate.
Well, I think they got to repaint that rainbow.
Repaint the rainbow first.
Yeah. I don't care if they rename it after him, but repaint the rainbow. Jeez, it's so faded. It's a pastel rainbow now. It's not a bright rainbow.
Meanwhile, back on the ranch, we have a lot going on in San Francisco on Tuesday, and this show is running on the air on the radio on Sunday. On Tuesday, there was a motion passed by the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco about the 49ers. I'm not sure because I was working what exactly happened.
Well, you raised a question that I don't know anything about either. Many times I speak about things I don't know anything about.
Quite eloquently, I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can be very creative because I know exactly where they are. But this one catches me. Why would you say anything about the Niners? The Niners are gone. The Niners are down in someplace called Santa Clara, I think.
Where is that? Is that by Bakersfield? Where is Santa Clara?
It's by
No,
Marriott's Eat America, or Great America.
I've been there. It's not great America. It's an okay America. It's not that great.
It's a stolen name when they say Great America.
Yeah.
Clearly misleading.
It is.
Can you imagine you have a stadium, a brand new stadium, and you play 3 times to use the turf, and you've changed the grass 3 times? The grass was never changed at Candlestick. It was real grass.
Well, did you hear the joke that they did? Because the Niners didn't score in the first 2 games, so they said, we don't know why they're changing it in this end zone. The Niners haven't touched the grass.
They never reached
yeah,
that.
yeah, they never reached the end zone. Yeah.
And in the second half of the game against Dallas, they looked like the original Niners. I mean, the ones who couldn't touch the grass.
They were hanging on to a lead, though. So we don't know who they are yet.
No, and we may not get to know them because the Bears are like the Raiders. You know, the Raiders De La Salle could beat the Raiders.
Last year the Niners started out 1-3, and I remember we were doing this show,
Right.
and we had a Niner on with us. I think we had Eric Wright on with us, and he said, "Don't worry about it. You know, they'll be fine." Because they started out 1-3 last year, and then they made it all the way. And once again, 3 years in a row, 1 play away.
Okay, but you got to keep in mind, this time, almost every other player has a parole officer. Somewhere near. So we don't know.
They got to have 2 charter flights. Yeah, they need 2 planes.
It's amazing how when the Chronicle did, Chronicle does that thing on Sunday in one part of the Chronicle where the editorials are.
Right.
You ever go through that question and answer and try to see how many you can get right? They only have 5 questions.
Oh, right.
They only have 5 questions,
Yeah.
right? I can tell you how to get them all right.
The insight section. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can tell you how you can get them all right.
How?
Read the bottom first, and then go back around.
It's the Will and Willie show here with Willie Brown and Will Durst. I'm Paul Wells. Our guests are famed civil rights attorney John Burris and legendary clothier Will Spashford. They will join us in the next few segments. And then we'll have a Q&A with the people that are here at the Gold Dust Lounge.
Oh, we will, but this week has been devoted to 2 or 3 things.
Yes.
News-wise, the whole issue of what do you do, and I assume we'll have a good discussion with John Burris on this question, but we ought to raise it right now. How can you, as a professional organization, be so lackadaisical about the conduct of your people who are part of your operation? The business with reference to this guy, Rice, it was
The NFL.
last May when he did what he did. And you're going to tell me that you run an operation where you didn't get the video.
The NFL had to have that video.
When did
If
they have it?
TMZ
What did they know?
if
When did they
TMZ
look at it?
Sports
Yes.
had it. The NFL had it because we always got to see him dragging her out of the elevator by her hair, which,
Dumping her on the floor.
yeah. So we saw that part, and the other part was it was part of the same tape. So they must have seen it. I don't know why it was just released, but it doesn't bode well for Ray McDonald.
I saw the whole thing, and it was interesting. He fired on her, right?
Yeah.
That's what you.
She
And then she
swung
fired on him.
Yeah.
She hit him. Boom. And then that's when he knocked her out. He decked her. Well, at that stage of the game, if you were the NFL and you were looking at that, that should have been the end of his career.
But what's it say about society? I mean, we get these guys and we honor them and we emulate them and we hold them in high regard because they are bullets that we're shooting out. And so this
It's a violent game.
It's a violent game, and we want them to be gladiators. And then they act like gladiators. So who's at fault? I mean, is it the NFL? Aren't we culpable a little bit?
Absolutely. What we've done, we've allowed the NFL to become the most successful of all the sports franchises in our world. Soccer is the number one in every other place in the world. But we've allowed the NFL and its activities to become the number one. It's the highest grossing, the highest earning, etc. And what we've done is we've glorified the warriors, the people who actually perform the task of the entertainment. We have ignored the fact that there's only one place where there's been any evidence of character building among people playing that game, and that's over there at De La Salle. Every other place, the object has been to eliminate your enemy. The equipment that you use is designed to help eliminate your enemy. That bird cage of a helmet is a lethal weapon, and you are supposed to project yourself with that lethal weapon.
And the plastic pads they wear on their shoulders.
And on every other place, and all the things that they do. You know, I saw the movie North Dallas. You remember
North
that
Dallas
movie
40,
years ago?
yeah.
Yeah. And in that time period, whenever somebody was injured, they shot them up with painkiller and sent them back on the field. And now what we do, we shoot you up, you shoot yourself up with painkiller, and we suspend you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how we have allowed the evolutionary process to build a phony image.
Well,
Football players are not people you would want your kid to emulate, should not want your kid to emulate. That is a violent sport. They do it for money, like you box for money. You don't want your kid to be a professional fighter.
No, you don't want them to get hit in the head for a living.
That's
And you don't
exactly
want them
right.
going around beating people up.
And not only that, I don't know anybody that holds boxers up to be an example of how you ought to be.
Used to. In the 40s. Used to.
Well,
It was
but
different.
now-
We're changing. And the NFL is not keeping up because what was the name of the wide receiver who got busted for the entire year for smoking pot, which is now legal in 2 states, in Washington and Colorado. You could not do something that was legal in Washington and Colorado. He got suspended for the entire season, and Ray Rice got suspended for 2 games. And that was the dichotomy of the punishment was a huge problem, a public relations problem. And that's why yesterday, when the tape came out of him cold clocking his fiance, who turned into his wife, and she's protecting him now, and she's defending him.
And she may very well have a lawsuit. But I'm sure that $25 million contract she
could
had
also have brain
had
damage,
something to do with the developing relationship following the punch. I mean, I cannot imagine. He can't get a job now. He can't work, etc. And he has not yet been tried for any conduct, etc.
No, and I don't
and
think
they
he
have
will be.
canceled his contract, literally.
But
Canceled his contract.
he's already received $22 million of that $35 million contract.
They may
He
try
got
to
it
get
in
that
bonuses.
back. They may try to get them back. I hope, when she married him, if I had written that
Prenup
agreement, it would have started with, in consideration of $22 million prepaid, as a damage claim for the 2 punches you threw. $11 million each is what it should have been. And if Boris had been representing there, that's what he would have gotten. She wouldn't have gotten all 22. Boris would have gotten 40% of it. But that's what we lawyers do.
8.8.
Willie Brown, Will Durst, that segues into our next segment.
Oh, what is it?
Coming right. Well, John Burse from Oakland, famed civil rights attorney, and discussing Ferguson and the militarization of police. And he's done a lot of high-profile cases which involve similar situations. We'll have John Burse join us, and then in the following segment, Wilkes Bashford will be here to, in Will Durst's line in the promo, let us know if camouflage for police is fashionable or not.
And we'll be taking questions from the audience.
Yes, for the final segment. It's the Will and Willie Show with a live audience here at the Gold Dust Lounge at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. I'm Paul Wells with Will Durst, Willie Brown, and we'll be right back.